Hey, John West here from West Real Estate Group, and today I'm joined by one of our agents, CJ Westwood. And CJ has really enjoyed the niche of the idea of investing in real estate. Certainly a little bit different from even owning a home, is the idea of investing in homes or investing in other properties as a financial investment tool. What has got you involved in that? I know there's a backstory behind why you've gotten into that little bit of the niche, if you will.
Certainly. About 25 years ago, my parents started investing in real estate, and as a young man, I sort of watched them go through that process, and I learned a lot through that. And at the time, I didn't really see the long-term value. I was like, I guess this is just what people do sometimes. But watching them go through the process and acquire a few homes, now as they're in retirement, it's been 25 years. The cash flow and the wealth generation over time is something that's really inspired me to not only get into investing in real estate myself, but to help investor clients. And sometimes they're grizzled veterans that have done it many times, and sometimes it's somebody's first time foraying into investment, and guiding them through that process is something that's very exciting for me. And there's a lot of information that people just don't have access to that I like to share with them.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, we do work with people that have done multiple rentals, if you will, but we also work with a lot of people that are just getting into it. And I think one of the things that we were talking about before is the idea is that a lot of people have a great asset being let's say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that could be a great rental, but more than that, they have these interest rates, right? That are below maybe 3%. And not only is the asset the home, but now we have the asset being the actual financial interest rate. You had mentioned some people are looking at the option of, instead of selling their current house, just renting it out if they can financially afford that. And that's something we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it's actually the way I got my first rental. My wife and I had a need for a larger home. We had another child, and we're about to acquire another pet, and there just wasn't enough room. And we looked at the interest rate we had on our current home, and where the payment being where it was very beneficial for us. But we decided to retain that property and buy a second one, move into that, and then turn our exit home into a rental property. And retaining that low interest rate kept that low payment, and now the rent that I get offsets the surplus anyways on the cash flow, offsets my new payment. So it's something that I don't think a lot of people consider. They think I have to sell this to have the money to buy that. But in the case, a lot of the times is if you're holding that asset, which is the lower interest rate, and you can afford a new home with the supplemented income you get from the cash flow on your rental, it's a real kind of a nice shoe into investment without having to come up with a big 20% down and become a landlord and fix toilets at 3 a.m.
Yeah, no, and there's certainly a lot around this conversation about, I don't want to be a landlord at 3 a.m. like you mentioned. I don't know how the process works. Do I have to have a lot more down than I realize? So this is obviously a bigger conversation. And if you have real estate questions or thinking about the idea of investment, if you have a home that has an interest rate below 3%, that may be a good rental, or you're curious about that, give CJ a call. We'd love to chat with you about those options and just lay those options out for you. Sometimes it's not the right call, and we have no problem sharing that with people. Like, if the numbers don't make sense, let's call it for what it is. We're gonna be honest with you on that, and that's the fun part about investment. The numbers actually do the talking, so it's kind of nice to be able to see that. If you have real estate questions, investment ideas, or strategies that you want to run by us, CJ is a great resource. Give our team a call at 208-501-8200. We'd love to hear from you and help you figure out what your real estate goals are and put those into action. Give us a call, and we'd love to hear from you. We'll see you on the next video.